Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. For those of you who don't know me, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by today. Today I'm going to be talking about the whole exact dupes, especially with like Shop Hush and Makeup Revolution. I have some pros and cons here that I want to go over, and then I'll kind of give my own personal thoughts. I am going to be honest. I do own some of those exact dupe items. I do own them. They are in my collection. I have used them here on my channel, but I wanted to kind of discuss this topic and be kind of open about it because I think a lot of people here on YouTube have different opinions, have different thoughts on it. I'm going to go over the pros and the cons. If my lighting's changing, it's like the window and yeah. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about this. So I do, of course, have my notebook here because that is kind of how I roll. That's kind of what I do. But we're going to go over the pros list and then the cons list. So pros, they are cheaper. I believe this was like $10 or $12, and it is definitely a dupe of the Subculture palette. I was lucky enough, one of my friends here on YouTube actually sent this to me. It's the Makeup Revolution, the eye contour palette, the light and shade palette, or like the Kat Von D shade and light palette. Then I have the Athena palette. That dupes the Huda Beauty palette. And then I have this one, which dupes, again, Kat Von D palette, which is the Metal Matte palette. And they are cheaper. That is one thing. Like this one, you can't get that Metal Matte palette anymore. So I was kind of drawn to that. I'm going to be real. I was drawn to it. Same with the Retro Love. I feel like the formula is much better than the Subculture. It is not as powdery. It is not as crazy. It is not going to fall apart on me. So, yes. The next pro is you can achieve a similar to the exact look with these dupes. I followed a friend's tutorial. I will actually link that up in the cards or down below here on YouTube, Shannon Coral. And I used this while she used the Subculture palette, and I did get the pretty much same look using this palette. You're able to follow and stay on trend with these dupes. And to me, that's not really that important, but I notice some people, they want to be on trend. They want to be able to have those similar items or same looks and look like they own the high-end palette when they don't. These brands can't copyright these colors. There's no way to copyright a color. The color scheme, the layout, the way they do it. Now, this is laid out a little differently than the Subculture. I believe the Athena palette's laid out a little differently than the Huda Beauty. And same, so forth, and all of that with the others. So, they can't really change that. Makeup is more accessible. These brands have kind of really put it in the forefront to make these items accessible to everyone. And I kind of appreciate that. As somebody who usually shops for drugstore makeup, I don't always go out and buy a ton of high-end makeup. I do have more than I have in the past, but I don't really go out to go buy those. They are, and this is kind of a pro and a con, but they are kind of hit or miss. You can find a really good dupe like the Retro Love Bad Habit palette. I think is a pretty good dupe for the Subculture palette, but some of them are hit or miss. In my opinion, the Athena palette is okay. I am not a fan of the shimmers, and I absolutely cannot stand this glitter. It's okay. It is not the greatest palette dupe ever. Now we're going to get into the cons. They're taking somebody else's idea. And for a while, I really struggled with this as somebody who is a creative person, enjoys making YouTube content, has an Etsy shop where I create my own jewelry and things like that. It is kind of one of those things when somebody takes your idea, you feel the sting. You just feel kind of disappointed. And I do think that they need to be a little less matchy-matchy, and especially Makeup Revolution has a lot of matchy-matchy products. I mean, they're coming out with, or already have, coming out with something that looks very similar to the Kat Von, or not, well, they've duped a lot of Kat Von D products. I mean, they basically took the name on this one, which I don't really agree with that. I think if you're going to do something like Bad Habit, who changes the name and kind of changes the layout a little bit in the palette, but they're also like the Kim Kardashian concealer or that brush thing, whatever that is, contour. They're coming out with something that is pretty much the exact same there, and I'm kind of a little, I don't know how I feel about that. I think that packaging maybe shouldn't be touched. Just kind of my personal thoughts. I think you can kind of copyright and like patent certain things with packaging, and I don't know how Makeup Revolution is getting around that. Oversaturating the market with unoriginal ideas. And they are. They're taking literally somebody else's idea and now putting it out there and mass producing it to the point where that original is no longer valued as highly. And I do think that is unfair to those brands. I think it's kind of nice when you find a coincidental dupe, and I do understand why people have a hard time with these exact dupes. It's also kind of why I have not really purchased much more from Shop Hush. I've kind of looked at things, kind of wanted to. In the past have filled out their whole, like, be an influencer for us thing that they send out, and I don't know how I feel with certain things that they do sell, or in terms of that. Lost in profit for the company. Now, I don't know many people who feel really sorry for a billion-dollar company missing out on some money. I don't. I don't think these brands, I mean, they're always going to have their customers, the higher end brands, that are only going to purchase things from those brands. So I don't really feel necessarily bad, but I can see why people would think that is a con, especially if you're the one creating the product. I do understand that mindset and that kind of thought behind it. So my thoughts on exact dupe, I kind of enjoy them. I'm going to be real. I have 4 palettes here that are exact dupes, and I kind of like the items I got from Shop Hush. I've kind of slowed down because I really needed to kind of evaluate how I felt about these items. But they are kind of things that I do enjoy here in my collection, and I do reach for and I do use. So my kind of thought is I'm okay with exact dupes. I know not everyone is, and that's okay. And if you're not, I would like to hear some more reasons why you might not be somebody who reaches for these dupes down in the comments below. Or do you agree with me and do you feel like it's okay to buy them? Let me know down below. I would love to start a discussion. Let's be kind and nice to each other. We can disagree without being nasty, okay? So please give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Thank you guys again, and bye!